Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening everybody and welcome along to Apex Online Racing. This is season 20 of Xbox One F1 and we are at round number 10 on the oldest Formula 1 race on the F1 calendar. It is the French Grand Prix. It has taken a 10-year absence, but it went back into the roster just a few years ago at one of the new tracks, the circuit pour Ricard. Most known as the test track. Well, obviously it's not known as a test track in the winter season obviously, but some people can question the amount of overtakes that happen and stuff like that, but in league races, it's absolutely phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the drivers have to offer today. It's situated in the sunny south of France, and it's not the world's favourite of tracks, but it's got some really good layouts. It's confusing to work around for your first few goes, but it should be amazing nonetheless. So, without further ado, we are going to be going into the qualifying session. The tyre compounds used for today's race is the C4s, the C3s and the C2s, with the tyre deltas 1.2 seconds slower than the softs for the mediums and 1.8 seconds slower than the softs if you're on the hards. So are you guys ready for this? There we go. So we are in the session then. Hope you're all looking forward to it. So we've got 15 minutes left of qualifying to go with 14 drivers on the circuit. BGG Pancake's the guy that I'm riding on board with at this moment in time. It's the only driver on the medium compounded tyres, and to be honest, around here, as he just invalidated his lap time, so I can't go on board with him, but it's not a bad choice because with the tyre deltas around here being so high, we could see people try some different strategies here. Maybe starting on the softs may not be the best idea, but it does depend on the temperatures as well. There's a few people cutting corners there, which is not good. It kind of reminds me of No Rules France, but hopefully that does not happen. Now, apologies about the slight delay for the stream. Unfortunately, my lead for the Xbox was a bit dodgy today, as last week the new Xbox console launched, and I was very lucky to get the Xbox Series X, and I don't like the lead. It's very dodgy. I just don't like it, but I like the actual console, just not the lead to it. And hopefully it's all fixed now. And I wasn't able to get some invites for some reason, but there we go. I'm still able to see the action. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that we do not get any more issues. So quite a few people have gone into the pit lane just to get some installation laps in. So let's go on board with Amaze actually, who's just set a 1 minute and 27.8. Now Con Pablo is doing something that I thought that a few people in F1 esports have done. Go onto the intermediate tyres and see what happens with the track, get used to the track and stuff like that, and then go into the pits, because they don't have as much soft use in the race. So if they get filled with the track with the intermediate conditions, then they're all good and jobs are good. And so I think that's what Con Pablo is doing, and that's why is doing that, just in case you guys are getting a bit confused. Now, for those of you that weren't watching last week, where have you been? Because last week was absolutely phenomenal. We saw last week's race winner, Hawk, be absolutely fantastic. He's now a full-time driver, and what a way to have a great victory in Canada. He took the world by storm, and I wonder if he's going to be winning loads more races this season. And to be honest, I really hope he does. He has the confidence, and he's going to carry on that momentum, hopefully, going into the races. Now, he has invalidated his last lap, so he's probably going to be going in to the pits very, very soon, I think. And as he's gone off a bit and he would have been validated anyway. So let's not go on board with him. Not many people have set validated lap times at the moment. Only 6 people have set validated lap times, with one not being a representative lap time for the drivers. But there we go. But the others are quite good. And 127's already around this track. Pretty good. And I haven't checked what the lap times were for the PS4 players. But I was expecting probably the low one, well, the low 126s maybe. But again, I'll need to check what the PS4 lap times were. I think it was just into the 126s, as far as I recall. So, yeah, that's pretty good. We could see it here today, but it's going to be really a tough point. It's a tough call, but we'll find out, of course. Now, the action zones around this circuit, you got to watch out for turn 1 and 2, obviously. People can get caught out with the understeer. Turn 4 and 5 as well, we can see quite a few instances there. Turn 7 and 8 is the DRS zones, where we've seen quite a few overtakes in the PS4 tier that I was just watching before this one, and it was absolutely amazing, I've got to say. So make sure you check this race out before obviously watching this one. No, not before watching this one. After you watch this one, because obviously you've got to watch this live, of course. And we do have a Maze that's sitting on pole position right now with a 1:27.813. And I'll need to turn the sound just a little bit up, just so you guys can hear just a little bit more. So just give me a second. Maze looking pretty comfortable out there. He is known as a showman at times, but I think he's got quite a lot of confidence around this track, and he's doing really, really well. So I'm expecting good things for him. Let's just hope he doesn't make any mistakes. Now, I'm going to be running through the championship at this moment in time. So let me just look. So currently your championship leader is Humperdinck by only getting 1 point, but it means that he did not extend the gap last week, because Bobberts was able to close the gap by getting more points than him. So Humperdinck on 127 points. Bobberts in second with 116 points. Third place is Tom with 107 points. Fourth place is Jonah with 84 points. Fifth place is King Kont with 76 points. Sixth place is Squishy Panda. She is on 68 points. Seventh place is Alfio with 58 points. Eighth place is LGS with 54 points. Ninth place is Alex Dago with 48 points. 10th is Hyde with 45. They've got a Maze in 11th, Jakey B in 12th, Hawk in 13th, Pancakes 14th, John in 15th, GC 16th. Now, KC has been moved down to Tier 2, so you'll be able to see him on the standings, but he's not here for the foreseeable future. But on behalf of everyone in Tier 1, I would just like to say a big well done to everybody. Well done to KC for all of his hard work there. And he got his best result in Azerbaijan and Spain, I believe. Or was it? Yeah, it was Spain. And we got JJ Rolls in 19th and Delta in 20th. Hopefully we'll see some few more drivers. And we do see Daegu also doing an installation lap on the intermediate conditions. Well, intermediate tires, I should say. Now, obviously we've seen in real life, we've seen quite a few surprises around, like with Lance Stroll taking his first pole position. Not going to spoil too much more, but it was quite a crazy race that we were watching this morning. Obviously, it was very, very early as well. I wonder if we're going to see the same today. Now, here comes Bobberts. Let's just follow Bobberts, our second place man, on a lap. Let's hopefully he does not invalidate. As you enter for turn 1, aim to have your car as far to the right as possible just here going into turn 2. So make sure your left-hand wheels are still on the right-hand line. Once you made it into turn 3, brake 75 metres before the corner. You should run along the inside curb with almost your whole car, so your front right tyre almost touches the bollard. Now you're going towards turn 6 and 7 now. Lightest brush with the inside curb is what you want here. Turn 7 and follows immediately after here. Following the DRS straight. Live for turn 1. You should aim to get your cars close being off track to the right as possible, but not too much. This will ensure that you can open up your line for turn 8. As you pass the bollard, you should be moving around about 180 miles per hour, heading towards turn 9 and coming up towards turn 10 now. A bit of a understeering moment as you come across here at this moment in time, especially going towards turn 11. You should already be almost at full throttle. Braking point for turn 12 is perhaps even more difficult to spot than turn 11 because it's quite blind in a way. The tiny red squares are your friends, as it were. Now turn 13, simply the exit of turn 12, so you don't need to worry about it so much. And heading towards turn 14 and 15, heading towards the final corner. It's going to be a good lap from Robert, so let's see what he could do. It's a 1:27.562, which puts him in pole position. And the question I would like to ask here today is, will he stay there? That is the question. Will he stay there? There's going to be the likes of Alfio, who just improved as well in second place. Now, Alfio was very, very close to be helping his teammate in Azerbaijan. His teammate did really, really well. He actually won the race, his teammate Jonah. So, you know, he's got a lot of work to do to actually beat his teammate. He's beating his teammate at the moment, so he's going to be very, very impressed with that. Anyone else on a lap at the moment? We got Tom up there in 9th place. He's set purple in sector 2, but I'm not sure if it means anything or not. But we'll have to find out sooner or later. As he's getting a good run, I think. And as I said that, he almost moved to the right-hand curve just a little bit. That might have costed a little bit of time. Here he goes around turn 14 and heading in towards turn 15. Oh, a slight lock up there. But let's see what he could do. Coming across the line, the P0 bridge. And then before the start-finish line, he slowed down. So I'm guessing he wasn't happy with his lap. It's a 1:29.2. So that was... he did not improve there. Pancakes there in 13th. Now, he basically returned last week. Didn't get his campaign back up to a great start. And this was the man that actually won last season. He actually won the season 19 World Championship. And I was expecting him to be the front runners this season, but he's not doing too well. He needs to score more points and help everybody he can. And obviously it is a challenge. It's a new game. Some people like it. Some people hate it. You never know what could happen with Pancakes. And he just invalidated anyway. So he is not going to be improving on his lap time. And I've actually forgot that you can actually go backwards there. And I really do hope that the game optimizes for the new console to show at 120 FPS. Because as you can see, it's not at 120 FPS. So, yeah, I could definitely still feel the 30 FPS on the Xbox games. Obviously, they haven't optimized it. They've optimized it for dirt. But hopefully they'll optimize it for 2020. Fingers crossed. So, most people are in the pits. But Lefted has just put the car into pole position. What a lap from him. Not that far clear of Roberts, though. A 1:27.518. So, he could be the one that could impress critics. Lefted has got a few pole positions before. And he was the one that maybe shone just a little bit more, but maybe wasn't as good in the race. Kind of reminds me of like people like George Russell, who was good in qualifying but not as good in the race. But hopefully that won't happen today. I was a bit worried that Hawk will be like that last week, but it turned out that it was not the case for Hawk. He's in 5th at the moment. Just look at the gap between the top 7 at the moment. 4 tenths per second. That's pretty good. And even though we have 14 drivers, we can still see a lot of close battles here. Lefty was on pole for a second and now he got disqualified. Now, I wonder why. I wonder if he was parked the wrong way. Now, if I had a co-commentator, I would have liked to see how he got disqualified, but I would have liked to have seen that point of view. But the game does punish you for stuff like that, which is a bit of a shame, but there you go. Or he might have just spun and it took him a while. He might have done that. So he'll be starting from the back. Or maybe he'll be starting at the back on purpose. You never know. Now, no sign of what the weatherman is up to for this evening's race. But I think from inside sources, it's looking like to be a dry race. So, good news for the drivers. Good news for me. Less understeering moments in the dry conditions. And we're very, very excited. But why are people on the inters? That might strongly suggest that the weatherman could be wrong. And John Papp has retired from the session. So he was either pretty happy or he binned it somewhere. No, he didn't. He binned it towards turn, I think just at the end of turn 13 and 14. Now, I left it in the chat, in our little Twitter chat we had. I'm not going to say the full of it because he just said, oh, for beep sake. So he's very, very annoyed. So I would like to find out. I am actually going to ask it what happened. So he was actually trying to recover from his spin, but unfortunately he got disqualified from it. I almost did that yesterday in a league race where I almost got disqualified. So that was very, very close for me, but gutted for lefty. So both of the Red Bulls are out of the session, which is not what you want. And it is the calm before the storm. A few people need to get out as quickly as they possibly can, because otherwise time will come by before you know it. And I know Jonah has cut the corner there. Hawk's about to start his final lap. Luckily, he only invalidated his out lap, I believe. So he will have a chance to go out for one more lap. Oh, actually, no, he invalidated his flyer. So he's going to use up more of his tyres, which means he's going to have a huge disadvantage at the race if he's meant to start on them. And there's yellow flags around him, so hopefully it will go away after he goes, well, before he actually approaches it. And the checker flag's about to drop. Hawk is purple, set to 1. He's going to prove that he's not a one-hit wonder at this moment in time. We have got Squishy Panda come across the line. She can't improve on her lap time. And I think next will be one of the Alpha Romeos, which is Jonah, but he has invalidated his lap time. Next we have Con Pablo, who's got 2 of the Hasses chasing. And it looks like both of the Hasses are giving each other the toe right there. I'm not entirely sure there. So we've got Alex Daegu there. And I thought there were 2 Hasses, but they're not. There was just a Williams. There was just a Williams that I saw. My apologies. And the other Williams was Hawk, who was going really, really fast. We see quite a few spinners. And Hawk has actually got caught off guard there. That was a shame. So he's not going to challenge for pole position. Amazed has gone off the circuit and he's retired. Alfio's invalidated. Hawk got disqualified. What is going on right now with all these disqualifications? We got retirements as well. So we're watching on board with LGS as he comes across the line. What time is he going to set? It is going to be no improvement. So we stay 6th. What about Pancakes as he's finding it so hard, the extra grip at the moment? It kind of reminds me of Turkey. Yellow flags are waving. And I think that's it for qualifying. So, Bobbert, to his 2nd place in the championship, is on pole position. Now, if there's a race where he wants to close up to Humperdinck, then this is the race, which is absolutely fantastic. A big well done to him. And let us know in the chat, guys, were you expecting him to get pole position? And for me, personally, he wasn't having the best of races the last few races. So this is a good momentum boost, good confidence boost for him. So only 9 people have set lap times. So we got Bobberts in 1st place with a 127.5. 2nd is Jonah. 3rd place is Alfio. 4th place is Amaze. 5th place is John Papp. 6th place is LGS. 7th place is Tom. 8th place is Con Pablo. 9th place is Alex Daegu. And 10th place is Squishy Panda without lap time. And we got Pancake, Humperdinck, Lefted, and Hawk. So Lefted and Hawk did get disqualified there. Not sure how Hawk got disqualified. I think it was the same thing where he actually got spun. So, and it is sunny outside my commentary box window. You won't be able to see it at the moment because you're seeing a different screen, but it is sunny, which I think can provide some interesting things. It is known to be quite hot around France in the summertime, which makes it hard for the tyre temperatures. Now, for those of you that are new to AOR and for those of you that are new to league racing in general, you will have to start on the tyre you set your fastest lap on if you qualify inside the top 10. But for ones that set no lap time, I do believe they do get a free choice of tyres. I think, as far as I'm aware, unless the rule in the game has changed in that regard. But again, I will have to double check sources on that one as we're waiting for all drivers to ready up. And I strongly suggest if Bobberts can get that calm pole position, which he did, I think he's going to be winning the race. And that would put him in the driver's seat for the championship. Because don't forget, next week we go to one of my favourite tracks on the game. We're not going to talk about that much for now. So let us go to the track then. So we're back on the track and we are about to see who has chosen which tyre outside the top 10. So soft to medium, not ideally possible. But soft to hard is easily doable. So that is why everyone outside the top, well, from 8th downwards, has opted for the hards. Because not many people set laps. Because obviously a few people set it on the inters for some weird reason. But done a little bit of an eSport territory, I've got to say. But that means 7 people opted for the hard. And 7 people had to start on the soft compound tyres. Now, we do know this. I've said this quite a few times in these Xbox One streams that the OP strategy is the ultimate strategy. And there is someone in the chat, actually one of our PS4 F1 commentators, Luke, that he was actually surprised that not anyone has gone for the mediums. I'm quite surprised as well. I thought it would be an even split. I thought it would be around, I think it'll be like 3 people on the mediums and 4 people on the hards or something. I don't know, or the other way around, but I'm guessing they saw the race earlier and they saw, right, I don't think the mediums will make it. But I thought more people would do mediums to hards. But I'm guessing they want to get on the softs very quickly. That is going to be a little bit of a gamble. And I've got to say, if I could predict who's going to win the race if it's for the alternate strategy, I think Con Pablo is in the driving seat. I've got to say, he is the favourite, I think, going into this. Now, he is, I believe, in 5th place in the standing. Actually, no, he's not. That's lefted. He got P2 in Canada. So, he's looking for one better. And if he thinks one of those races could be the case, it could be that one. But the hards are not the best race tire to start on. Just watch the delta. 1.8 seconds. Almost 2 seconds slower than the soft. So just watch the top 7 really start to pull away as I hide the UI for a second. But anyway, the 5 red lights are coming up on your screen right now. We are about to start the 10th round of Xbox One F1. Bobbers is in the driving seat with Jonah alongside. And we are underway, and it's a great start from Bobbers, great start from Jonah as well, great start from one of Mercedes of Humperdinck as they all make their way past turn 1, and quite a lot of people on the hards are struggling, but just watch out for them towards the end now, heading towards turn 2 and into turn 3. I don't think there's many contact at this moment in time. I think we've got a timing glitch at the moment, that's why I can't tell who's in what position, and as we already got fewer timers as Hawk has spun there, and John Bapp has already retired And I wonder if we are actually going to see a safety car already. And I don't think we are. Maybe a VSC, but yeah. Already, he didn't even make it past the first few corners. That is a shame. But that's allowed the likes of Jonah and Amaze to make up some ground here. And that is absolutely amazing. But just watch the understeer already going into turn 8 and 9. It's just so difficult. And the sunshine is just going to blind a lot. If you go on board with them very, very soon, especially going in towards turn 11, that is where it's going to be at its trickiest. Meanwhile, the person on the hard strategy, the one on the leading bunch of the hard strategy, I should say, is absolutely flying on those hards. He is nailing it. And John Papa's left the session. He is one disappointing bunny at the moment. I think he's like Max Verstappen earlier, that he was disappointed not to get pole position, and he was disappointed to not get the win, of course. As we are starting lap 2 of this race. Not lap 3, as I would say, because there's no DRS, of course. And Bobbert is already starting to get out of DRS range. Now, that is crucial for laps time. If you're out of that DRS range, then Bobbert, he's going to get some clear air and start to potentially dominate for the first half of the session. 27 laps await our drivers. We've already seen a few people off already. The tyres are starting to overheat a bit more. Maybe maybe some of them are a little bit late on the brakes, because I know some people in this tier tend to brake a little later than others, taking a little bit of risk there. Amaze doing ever so well. I did say in Canada last week, oh, Amaze is doing well, and then he binned it. So hopefully I won't put any commentators' curses on him this week, as he's got really good battery on him, 68%. Jonah is running out already. He's already used a lot in the first few laps. Bobbett's on 52, so not too bad. And what about Tom? Tom has got Alfio for company now, 2 temps. They've got about the same amount, so I think it's going to be an even playing field. But you can see, I think Alfio has just got better tyre management and just got better pace. So let's see then in the Alfa Romeo how he can handle this pressure. Alfio has been scoring consistently, and according to the pit stop strategy, we could see people trying the 2-stop. You never know, but I thought more people would do softer hards, but we will see. As we're heading towards lap 3, DRS is enabled, and it's only enabled if you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. So for Jonah, that's not going to happen. He's going to try and get into that DRS zone, but for Amaze, though, he's going to be on cloud 9 as Jonah has gone off again. So it must be his setup then that is struggling. It may be he's got less downforce on his car compared to the other drivers. So let's see how Amaze can fare. He's got DRS. He's able to gain a bit more temps here, but not quite enough. What can Alfio gain on Tom? Again, not quite enough either. Again, if all these guys are stuck within the DRS train, then that's going to be game over. And look at Jonah. Bobbers must have made a mistake there, as Jonah has gained 4 temps. Now, Bobbert starts, reminds me, like Luke said in the chat, of Blizzard start in PS4 F1 today. And to be honest, Blizzard did really, really well in that race. And I've got to say, Bobbert is in a similar position to how Blizzard is, except Bobbert is in 2nd place in the championship and is looking to pounce at this moment in time. He was in the lead of the championship for most of it, but Humperdinck down in 12th showed the consistency is key. Humperdinck not faring so well, but again, watch out for the end. Not looking good to get past Squishy Panda though, right now. So that is interesting at this moment in time. So yeah, Bobbert must have made a mistake, or he might have lost it, or maybe Jonah just gained so much. Jonah could look to be on course to be getting his 2nd win of Xbox One F1. The last time he won was in Azerbaijan, where it got very, very hectic. Quite a few safety cars. No safety cars at the moment, though. Quite big a pile-up at the beginning. So quite similar situation. But again, Jonah not able to get past right now. It may due to be the Sorry, excuse my words. It may be due to the dirty air because it's very tricky on this game. I found that in my team around France. It's just so hard to get past the car in front. You just lose so much time just following other cars. And I think cars in a Turkish Grand Prix today, I think, found exactly the same thing. So Bobbert is in the hot seat and it's definitely like being in first right now. Now, I wonder when these guys are going to pit. Probably in a few laps' time if they want to go for two-stop. But I wonder if they're going to go soft, medium, soft in that case. Or, so I'm just looking at the tyre data that I have on my little Word document, which I use to write notes. Hards last 18 laps. So, they would have to pit lap 8 or lap 9 if they want to make those hards to the end. So, the undercut may be a bit of an issue for some of them. We shall see. And the pit loss is just so much bigger compared to other tracks. We'll go to the pit loss in just a second. There's a lot of long corners around here, which makes things a little bit trickier. And remember we saw Charles Leclerc having a battle around here, around turn 7 and 8. I think we're going to see Tom do exactly the same thing, but Amaze closes the door very, very nicely there. And going into turn 9 now, almost a bit of a slide, but Amaze is on the ball there in third place and onto the podium. Could we see Amaze get his first podium in so long? Just like we saw, spoiler alert, Sebastian Vettel get his first podium in so long. I think everybody wanted Vettel to get the podium. And it's just amazing to see. Don't forget, his first season, Amaze, in F1, Xbox One F1, was in season 18, I believe. And he came up from F5. And he stayed there in F1 since pretty much season 18. And Tom is the first driver to pit. Now that is a gamble. Though if it is on the hard tyres, those hards I don't think are going to make it to the end. And if it's mediums, he's going to go for the two-stop. Tom's going for the two-stop then. There he goes. So I think more people are going to be doing the two-stop than I thought. And I wonder what LGS is going to do. LGS is going on to the hards. So Tom will have to pit again. LGS I'm worried about. Unless LGS is predicting there's going to be a safety car. Now, some people I know can get to around about lap 20, but you have to have good tyre management. Or 20 laps on the hard, sorry. But you have to have good tyre management, I've got to say. So, LGS is risking it there. He really is. Now, I really do hope LGS does not have get a puncher. But again, I do not know the weather. I don't check the weather forecast, because that spoils quite a bit of data. So let's watch the battle at the front then. I think no sign of movement for the top three, but I think Amaze is going to be thinking twice of what he's going to be doing. Is he going to be doing the two-stop, or is he going to be staying onto the hards now? So you can potentially pit now if you want to make 20 laps. But there you go. Amaze had to respond to the challenge of Tom there, and so did Alfio. But Bobbert's staying out. So it looks like Bobbert and Jonah are opting for the softer hards. So Amaze going for the two-stop, but looks like it. What about Alfio? Is he going for the two-stop as well? Yes, he does. Going on to the medium tyres. So that is a risk in itself. Quite a few people did this in the other tiers and in other league races I've seen around this track. But the last league race I've ever commentated around here, it was dry to wet to dry. And it was absolutely chaotic. 2 safety cars. But luckily it's still sunny around here. No sign of any dark clouds. But it could all change as the race goes on. So we don't know which is the best strategy right now. Meanwhile, Pancakes has made a beautiful pass within the DRS range past Alex Daigu there, up into P4. Doing well on those hard tyres. And he's 2 seconds behind the leading bunch of Pablo. Now look at this. The crossover point between the soft and the hard is pretty much soon. 1.9 seconds between him and Jonah. And I'm going to see gap to leader. Just give me a second. Gap to leader, 2.5 seconds. Pablo is doing absolutely amazing. Could he get his elusive win? He is P10 in the standings. And if he keeps this up, he could climb his way up higher. And he takes the lead on track. He's going to be on those hards for quite a bit. Roberts goes in the pits now. So does Jonah. He too goes on the mediums. So he thinks at this time the hards can't make it to the end. And I think Jonah's opted for the same strategy. So my theory's been proven wrong. I thought people outside the top 10 going on the hards, I think, yeah, it's going to be soft to hard strategy for sure. But no, looks like it's going to be soft, medium, medium. So that is a risk that some of these guys have got to take. But I wonder if people on the hard tyres may opt to go on the mediums now and try the hard, medium, soft strategy. Because otherwise, they're going to be on so much slower tyres. They're just going to be losing so much grip. But again, they probably seeing things that I'm not. The fastest lap so far is set by, let me just have a look, Bobbert in 9th place. Bobbert, unfortunately, did not get ahead of Tom in the pit stops. So Tom's undercut strategy has definitely worked perfectly. Again, the undercut strategy is definitely OP on this game. On some tracks. Because the pit stop loss is around about 22.5 seconds. So of course you want to do the undercut around here. And I do see the lights come up here. So it might be start to getting a little bit cloudier at this moment in time. So that means the temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler. Which means it'll be easier for the medium tyres compared to the hard compounder tyres. Now, if you want to get involved in the discussions, make sure you get involved in the chat, as well as using the hashtag AOR Hype on Twitter. So the biggest gainers so far in this race are as follows. Humperdinck has gained 7. Obviously, a few people still yet to pit, of course. But Pablo's gained 7. And it's on a mission, 2.6 seconds now. But I wonder if Pancakes has done a lot better on his tyre management. But he's got a train of cars right behind that is looking to pounce right now. And I'm just looking to get the tyres back. There we go. Left is 3 tenths behind Pancakes on similar tyre length at this stage. I wonder if these guys are going to push these tyres to around about 20 laps. And look at this, lefted, trying to go and move into turn 10 and 11. And he makes it. Who said you can't overtake in France? And lefted just proves us wrong there. Incredible. He looked like a Max Verstappen doing that. And I'm not even kidding. Lefted, bravo. You get yourself a brownie point for doing that. And Pancakes, he's got Alex Dager and Humperdinck for company now. He must be feeling very, very wise. And if I was Humperdinck, I would wait to make the move, because you never know, Dager and Pancakes could make a mistake. We did see Dager make a mistake last week into Canada, which allowed Humperdinck to climb his way up the field just a little bit, even though he only managed to get P10 in the race last week. And it is starting to get darker. So maybe people on the mediums may be seeing something we're not. We may see a threat of the wet combat, the inters. We may see the inters come down, as Alex Dager is having a little bit of internet issues, which is a bit unfortunate. And we're seeing a few more time penalties there. Amaze has had a time penalty, as do quite a few others as well. And Pancake's starting to close the gap to lefted. Dager breaking the slipstream to Humperdinck. And it's getting a little bit damp about there. Could we see threats of rain? I think we can. I think every time I see the commentary around France, there is threats of rain. So it might just be me being in the commentary box is a curse in itself. And we got a yellow flag. Somehow Maze has dropped by Jonah and Alfio has got past him, and there's almost a little bit of a spin there. But great teamwork there from the Alfa Romeo boys to get themselves up into a net P4 and 5. Actually, no, 3 and 4, sorry. Excuse me, I've done my maths wrong. That's why I didn't get a good grade in maths GCSE. I've only got a C. So, there we go then. So, Alfa Romeo could score some really good points in the Constructors Championship. And it makes more sense on why more people opted for the mediums. Because of the threat of rain. So, I wonder why a lot of people are on the hards then as well. That's why maybe a lot of people are on the hards. Because they want to try and stay on those hards for as long as they possibly can and try and do the one stop so then they can go straight onto the intermediate tyres. That explains it all. That's probably why I was a bit confused at the start of the session. And it is raining. Drops of rain. There we go. Who would have thought it? In Xbox One F1, Pablo has timed it to perfection. I did say he would look on course to win today, and he is praying to the rain gods. I think he did a rain dance before the start of this lobby, and it paid off for him. Now, the track is not wet enough for them to go onto the intermediates. So they just got to wait for the DRS disabled sign. Now, the one person who is not happy with his choice is LGS. Soft to hard in a normal situation is absolutely fine. But with rain on the cards, then it's definitely not. So LGS is going to be way down the pecking order, and it's going to be in 30th position. But, as I've learned from a league race yesterday, do not give up. Because we can see people behind them, in front of them, sorry, they could struggle in the wet conditions. And LGS could be like, there you go. He could be getting some points still. So, fair play to LGS for keeping going. Don't forget, LGS proved that pudding in Australia. And with loads of safety cars and a few weather changes, LGS went on to win the race in the opening round in Australia. So he could be on course to potentially maybe gain some ground if the others fail. But he has to pit, I think, a lot earlier than everybody else, I think, in order to gain that advantage. So I think LGS has got to take the gamble. So we're almost halfway into this race in a few laps' time. And I wonder if the rain is going to get worse. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And 4.3 seconds is the gap between Lefted and Pablo. So Pablo seems to be the one that is doing well on those hards, but Lefted is not. And Bobbitt's 4:10 separate between him and Tom. Let's just watch the battle between these two as they head towards the final corner. DRS still enabled, so they're still able to make that move, but the dirty air, just look at the dirty air. It's coming a little bit more harder to follow the car. Bobbitt's just getting a little bit of straight line speed here. And going into the right-hand curb here, let's just see what happens. The visibility is getting a little bit more treacherous at the moment, but that means they can save a bit more ERS as well and fuel at this point if you've got a comfortable gap. So here he goes then, Tom just finding the corner. You can see Tom has definitely got a setup gain for the corners by the looks of things. You can see Bob was pulling away as Tom almost goes off the circuit. That's not what you want to do, my friends. But here we go then, going towards turn 8. Can he get the run that he needs? No, he can't. And you can see the medium runners do start to struggle a little bit. So let's just watch Pablo. Is he going to go into the pits and take the gamble? He's got a few more corners to have a little bit of a think about it, but this is really, really hard, really, really damp. It does remind me of Turkey, where it was like this, almost anyway. Actually, it was the other way around, where it was no rain, but the track was just very, very damp. And I think me and Jack, we were doing alternative commentary. We were just like, hang on, is it going to dry up? Is it not? You know, we don't know. But in this case, we're like, is it going to rain hard enough for the intermediate tyres. But Pablo is not going to go on to those inters just yet. But it is getting darker by the minute, so maybe they've got to think twice about this. We're seeing more people wanting to make moves, but again, they just can't do it. And we're riding on board with Humperdinck at the moment. Riding on board with the car that has made history today in Turkey. Lewis Hamilton has equaled Michael Schumacher's record again with his 7th world title, and what a GOAT he is. Well deserving of Lewis Hamilton. And even if you do not like Lewis Hamilton, you just got to look back of what an achievement he has done. Lewis Hamilton has won every single race. No, not every single race. He's won in every single season he's taken part in, and that just goes to show how talented he is. But going back to the racing, and I don't think there's going to be much racing going on right now due to the crossover period. And no sign of people. Oh, a little bit of a lockout from Humperdinck, and I think I just commentators cursed him there. As look, Humperdinck's going side by side with Hawk, last week's race winner, and even Hawk is struggling as well. This is getting really on. They're both being pushed into the pit lane, and the speed limiter has been knocked off. Everyone's going into the pits now, taking the risk. So I won't be surprised if we do see DRS disabled soon. And let me just go on. Yeah, everyone's going into the pits now, apart from Squishy Panda. Squishy Panda is the only driver, and Bobberts as well, who is not taking that risk. And Con Pablo is going to be the leading intermediate runner then, the number 2 car. And he's going to be the one that's getting the most position that could be winning this race. And if he nails this right, this is going to be a strategy masterclass for the Ferrari driver. And obviously the Ferrari driver's doing very well in real life for a change. So I wonder if we're going to be just seeing the same today in France, in Paul Ricard, of course. For those of you that don't know, there was actually a drink called Paul Ricard, actually, that someone posted in our comms chat, which I found to be fascinating, I've got to say. But let's see how Pancakes actually makes it through turn 8, and seeing if it is the best tyre. He manages it all right, so if I was Amazed, Jonah, Bobbert, Squishy Panda, I'll be worried. And yes, there is. We've got the confirmation from race control that DRS has been disabled. But I think some of these guys have been forced to stay out due to the fact that their teammates are pitting. But I think you're going to lose more time staying out than not pitting. So, and Squishy Panda goes in. So does Bobberts. Bobberts! It's gone from bad to worse for him. Bobberts has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And I wonder if he's going to take that in his pit stop. No, he is not. Amaze has done exactly the same thing. And is it going to allow Compalo to go into the lead? Let's see. Yes, it does. Quite comfortably, in fact. By, I don't even know how long. So the ones that stayed out had it really hurt them. It really did. So Pablo leads then from Lefted, from Pancakes, from Humperdinck in 4th, Daegu in 5th, Hawk in 6th, Squishy Panda in 7th. Squishy Panda, she's still going to get some good points around here. And my question I would like to ask you guys is, do you think the conditions are going to get worse? Or is it going to stay like this for the majority of the race? And here's my feeling. I think it could be enough for heavy rain, but it may be too late. As Bobbert's just getting a bit of straight line speed on Squishy Panda. And into 7th place in this race. And look at his championship rival. He does not want to see his championship rival up ahead. Humperdinck in 4th place and could be extending his championship lead. And again, I think Humperdinck was also praying to the rain gods, I think, as well. But he's got a nice battle going between his old teammate last season, Pancakes, and Alex Dagu up behind. And we got a yellow flag in sector 3, and that is Amazed, who spun it in turn 10. He doesn't like those intermediate tyres at all. And again, I won't be surprised if he just go into the pits and retire the car, and that will be game over. And it'll be a bit of a shame because he had a really good start. He also had a really good qualifying session too, and he just spun again. But the battle for the race victory is far from over, as we've got Pablo and Lefted having a really nice battle, and penalties could come into fruition. Again, I've seen in a league race before, a few people jumping loads of positions due to the fact of penalties. And there was a safety car, I've got to say, but I am actually surprised that we've not seen a safety car. I don't think we have seen a VSC either. But we might see one now as we got a yellow flag. And that's Amazed, who spun again into turn 1. And his tyres don't look good at all. His rears must be scorching hot. Meanwhile, Jonah was having a battle with his teammate, and he goes past him up into 10th place. So Jonah on course to be looking to be getting another point in this league, which will be good for him. Not the win that he wants, but again, point is point, and it can make a difference into winning or losing. More yellow flags, and that is Amazed again. That's part already reset to track there. I don't think you are allowed to reset to track, my friend. So, here comes Con Pablo then, on course to be challenging for first. He has not been in that many positions before. He missed out last week due to penalties, and him making, just being the person in the went for the win was a lot faster than him. But he has a really huge opportunity here today. He can't afford to lose it. He's got the most to lose out of anyone in this situation. And it's just getting so slippery. I won't be surprised if we'll see some standing water very, very soon. So please watch out for these guys as we head towards the final third of this race. No DRS, so all they're going to rely on is slipstream, and that's going to make things even more tricky, even more treacherous for the drivers. And we will have to find out in 7, well, pretty much 10 laps time what's going to happen. And I think Humperdinck could still be on course, be getting a podium. 9/10 per second. And if Pancakes has got penalties and Humperdinck has not, Humperdinck has shown in the past, like I said, consistency is key. Yellow flag once again, and again that was Amazed going through turn 1. So people have got to keep an eye on that once they get past Amazed, of course. And I wonder why people in the grandstand have not got coats on. And some people have got umbrellas on, some people have not. So, game. What are you up to, my friend? And I think the gap is still stationary between Lefted and Pablo. And the intermediates last around about the same time as the medium, so around about 14 laps. So they will definitely make it to the end from here. And I think for some of these guys, they're glad to not worry about the drive strategy, because there was no way that these guys were able to make it on hards or medium until the end of this Grand Prix. I'm very glad I did not check the weather, I've got to say. I like surprises. I really do like surprises. I know I do say this quite a lot. But anyway, anything can happen. And since there's not much going on out on the circuit at the moment, and since I'm on my own, let me check penalties. So, Pablo only got 1 warning. Lefted has got 1 penalty. Pancakes has got 2 penalties. Humperdinck has got Only 2 warnings. Daegu has got... Oh, Daegu is squeaky clean. That is really good from Daegu. He's been having an impressive performance. He has learned from his mistakes last week. Hawk has got an invalidated lap time, plus 1 penalty and 2 warnings. Bobbers has got 1 penalty plus a 5-second time penalty in the pit lane. Squishy Panda, she's got 3 penalties. And Tom has got 1, 2. So only a few drivers in this field have got no penalties. And I've just got to say, bravo to these drivers, because I find it hard to keep it on the white lines around France, especially in these wet conditions. So for the ones to keep it stable, you got to last for around about 8 more laps. And again, that's hard for any driver. And please watch out for all 14 cars as they, 13 cars as they make it through turn 7 and 8 in this treacherous weather. I think no change of moves since the wet period, and this could all change as Daegu was having a little bit of internet issues, and Hawk went for the send there, and he looked so committed there, and he said, thank you very much, see you later. If you're not going to get that position, I am. So Hawk up into 5th place. Brilliant stuff. He has got a few penalties to his name though, so this may not be P5 for him. We shall see. Now, there's a few drivers that I've been rooting for, but obviously I have to keep to the impartialness in this league. I've got to remain biased, obviously. I've got to remain impartial, unbiased, sorry. My bad, I do apologise about that. And we are starting to see people getting lapped already now. That is interesting. So Amaze is being lapped by Con Pablo Long. Luckily, he is being ghosted. And he got a penalty for that. Now Amaze has got to be careful, because Amaze almost got disqualified a few times this season for just for getting way too many penalties. I do not want this to happen tonight for him. And I think the lapped car is definitely going to challenge that. It looks like Amaze is doing no rules there. I think Amaze has just about had enough by the sound of things from the way he's driving. But we'll have to see what happens though. Again, like I said earlier, do not give up in these type of circumstances. And just ignore the corner cutting penalties because they were from Amaze. As Pablo is around about 6/10 behind Lefted at the moment. And he's not liking Amaze unlapping himself, I've got to say. I think Amaze could get some time penalties coming this way if he's not too careful. And that's allowing Lefted to catch up to 4 temps. So Amaze is just... Amaze, I do not know what Amaze is doing right now. I know he wants a battle with them, but he can't because he's ghosted anyway. And that's allowing Lefted to be about 3 temps. This could be a great battle. But Amaze, stuck in that sandwich with Pablo and Lefted. Lefted has just got to get that past that traffic ASAP now. Pablo with that straight line speed, now 6 temps now. Lefted, for him, it's all about the cornering speed. And Amaze, oh my god, I literally... Amaze is going to get disqualified at this race, and I wouldn't put it past him. Oh my word. That is... It's getting a bit annoying, to tell you the truth, but there we go. And let me get the intervals back again, so you are knowing about the gaps. So let's see then. Lefted. Can he get the straight line speed he needs to get past Pablo? Is he going to get through to the inside? No, not quite. Pablo, again, just being a little bit too fast, but you can see Lefted gaining a better entry speed there. We've got yellow flag is set to 2. We're going to ignore that for a second. Here comes Lefted. Is Lefted going to try and do a similar move to what we saw earlier with a few drivers? And he's not going to take that risk in these intermediate conditions, I've got to say. But I think he's going to try. I won't be surprised in the final few laps because you've got nothing to lose, but you're just going to hope that you do not bin it in any way. So watch out for this guy. Watch out for Leftid. Let's see what Leftid's last results were. Leftid got a P3 last week. And also a P3 in Baku. So he is on a podium streak right now. He does not want to end it. And at the moment, it's looking like he's going to continue it. But he's running out of ERS. So I think Pablo is going to push Leftid to use his ERS. And so is vice versa as well. And maybe that could bring the likes of Pancakes and the likes of Humperdinck into the mix. Even though they're on similar ERS as well. Hawk is on 34. Alex Dago on 26. What about Bobbits? Bobbits is on 34. Squishy Panda thinks she's been saving a bit. Now, LGS. LGS, I did not see in pit. LGS has gone for the biggest gamble I've ever seen. He's decided that he's finding it so hard on the inters that he decided, you know what? Going on the wets is enough. But he's struggling on the wets. So, I think it's way too early, but you can barely see the blue lines anymore, so I don't know what to believe. So, LGS is going to be in 12th position. It won't be that long before he's lapped. I won't be surprised if he gets lapped anyway. So, yeah, that is a gamble, because there is a bit of standing water, I think, in the final sector, but I think that's it. And a bit of the pit exit. But maybe LGS has made the biggest gamble, but he's not going to gain that much unless there is a safety car. Now, it may be too late to go on the full wets anyway if people do decide to go on to the full wet conditions. And you can still just about see the mountains. And the visibility is getting so much worse now. It is on the cusp of being full wets very soon. And if I were the drivers, I'll be asking Jeff constantly, weather report, weather report, weather report. You just got to use your gut feeling in these conditions. And I think the winner is going to be due to strategy. And I'm not surprised that this has happened. Unfortunately, Amaze has been disqualified due to receiving multiple penalties. Now, he did cause a bit of trouble when he was lapped, but even though he was ghosted, but there we go. And Alex Dagu has left the session. So has Alex Dagu been disconnected again? Did he receive the same problem like he did? I think he did receive the same problem like he did in, what was it? I think Baku, was it? Or Canada? It was Canada actually where he disconnected. So this is I think turned into a deja vu for him, and that is very, very frustrating for Daegu. Again, he was running so well. But again, his AI is going into the pits. I don't think that's what he wanted, but there we go. So he's going to be in last place anyway. So Alex Botts is in last. And we got 3 laps to go. You can vote for your driver of the day in chat. And to be honest, I don't know who to call this. And don't forget, Pablo, Leftid, Pancakes, Humperdinck. I believe all 4 of those people have started on the hard tyres. That's why all 4 of them went on the hard tyres. That's why not many people started a lap in qualifying. Well, complete a lap in qualifying. The top 5 started on the hard tyres. Pablo from 8th to 1st at the moment. Leftid from 13th to 2nd. Pancakes from 11th to 3rd. Humperdinck from 12th to 4th. And Hawk from 14th to 5th. It's going to be really hard to decide driver of the day. I can definitely tell you that. 70% of ERS. They are definitely pushing to the max right now. I don't know how they are seeing in these conditions. There's going to be a little bit more understeer than usual. And watch out for the tyre temperatures. I left it almost spun there. That was very, very close. And I think, let's just watch LGS. LGS is not liking this wet at all, I think. Due to no assist, of course. I think he's just not used to the traction as much. And he's been lapped by quite a few cars already. So I think that's just showing the full wets. It's on the cusp at the moment. You just got to get used to whatever tyre you got. And it would be too late to go onto the full wets anyway. And yellow flag. I don't know what that yellow flag is, but that may just be, I think, a few cars moving out of the way by the looks of things. But just look at that gap between Pancakes, Humperdinck and Hawk. They're having a ding-dong battle. Here we go. Hawk was looking good to the right-hand side almost. Can he get the switchback on Humperdinck in these wet conditions? Nope, he can't, but he could try here as well. They made slight contact as well. Could this be Bobber's chance to pounce? Bobbers must be loving this because he's got his championship rival not that far behind. Bobbers and Tom. Well, Bobbers and Hawk, sorry. They were still going side by side. Now going into the infamous turn 8. Bobbers was going to go to the right, but Hawk is defending. Watch out for this. This is going to be an almighty finish for this midfield. The chance is who is going to extend their championship lead and who's going to close in. At the moment, it looks like Humperdinck's going to extend quite a bit. But again, it will all come down to penalties. And Dago did join back. Luckily, someone did send an invite, so that's really, really great to see. And Lefted is really starting to hammer in on Pablo. I did say he was going to wait for the final moment, and he definitely did. So Lefted on the final lap, and unfortunately the deltas are not showing, but I should be able to see on the track map. Lefted can't make do with this at the moment, but let's watch Humperdinck, Hawk and Bobbert. Bobbert, I think, is in the back seat. He could just wait on the back of this train, because I think you'll know that these two might make a mistake in these conditions due to the dirty air and due to the visibility. It's like monsoon conditions around here. I mean, this is just so hard. If it was a 100% race, then definitely full wet tyres. Definitely. But again, they just have to make do with what they got, like I said. But let's watch out for Lefted. I think Pablo is doing all he can to just get the win. All Pablo needs to do now is not, Pablo, I think, is just doing just about enough. But Lefted is running out of fuel, though. Lefted is pushing. He's been told by his engineer, Jeff, as it were, to push. It is hammer time. He's almost run out of airs. I wonder what Pablo is. He's on 30% as well. What about the guys in the midfield battle? They're roughly about the same. I can't watch. It's getting so tense to watch. Yellow flag is set to 3. It is one of the McLarens. That is LGS. But again, I don't think Lefted has done enough unless Lefted could find some final grip in the final corner, which he does not. Pablo comes across the line. He takes his first win in AOR from the alternate strategy. Amazing. But we've still got the battle for the third place. Pancakes comes across the line in third. Hawk lost it a little bit there. Bobbert comes across the line in fifth. But Humperdinck gets on the podium due to the fact he hardly gets any penalties. Well done to him. Pancakes fourth. Hawk in fifth. Bobbert in sixth. So Humperdinck extends his championship lead, which he needed to after last week. Jonah in 7th. Tom didn't have a good race in 8th. Squishy Panda, though, she's still getting some points. Not her best results, though, but I'm sure she'll be pretty happy with that. And Alfio is going to be the last person to cross the line because LGS is being already crossed the line being lapped. What a race, ladies and gentlemen. I almost lost my voice after that. So much has happened towards the end there. And all it took was the wet weather to change it. And Alfio's gone off a bit. And I won't be surprised if he does any donuts, to be honest. He's got nothing to lose. And I think he's just going to be happy that he's going points anyway. And he's just reversing. What is he doing? Is he going backwards or something? Yes, he is doing donuts. Don't do donuts, please. There we go. He comes across the line anyway. And he goes across the line in 10th. I really enjoyed that. It's one of the best races of the season, I've got to say. A lot cleaner today than some races, which I've got to say, it might be due down to the weather. And driver of the day is going to the amazing Lefted. But I am finding it hard to decide who I think gets driver of the day. But the ones who started on the hards, they've had a strategical masterclass. So, Cont Pablo is your race winner. Ferrari on the top step of the podium. Who would have thought it on F1 2020, eh? Absolutely fantastic. And look, it's sunny again. But there we go. But anyway, Pablo with a 1:22.8. Unfortunately, did not get the fastest lap. That one goes to Bobberts, who gets the extra point. Bobberts, unfortunately, could not take that pole to a win. But anyway, let's go for your results. Pablo in first, Lefted second, Humperdinck third, Pancakes fourth, Hawk fifth, Bobberts sixth, Jonah seventh, Tom 8th, Squishy Panda 9th, Alvio in 10th, and LGS in 11th, with Daegu being 2 laps down. And your non-finishers, only 2 non-finishers here tonight, John Pap and Amazed. And a few people were complaining as well in the chat about the weather timings. I think that's what caught Bobberts out. That's probably why a few people qualified on the softs, because they thought that the rain was going to come out later. But again, I was really glad that I wasn't told. It was a really nice treat for me, definitely. And we'll be back next week. I'm excited about next week, actually, because we'll be going to Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. And last season, in season 19, we were treating to an absolute spectacular race. It was one of the final races of the season, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I think we're going to be in for a crack, so you do not want to miss it at 8 PM UK time next week. I've been Jess Games 95. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope you have a good rest of your week, and we will see you soon. I will leave you with the outro, sorry. Goodbye.